Alrighty. Hello and welcome everybody. Sorry, I was having a little bit of technical difficulty this morning, but we are underway. Lights are out. We're gonna see who can take the advantage. Looks like Verstappen, Norris, and Russell 3-1 into turn one. Norris, he looks like he might take it. Can't go. Lando almost had an amazing start. Verstappen takes the lead. Russell from pole down to P3 off the initial start. Piastri trying to get by Leclerc. Oh, we got carnage. Multiple cars off track. It looked like one of the Salvas, maybe one of the, Calapinto in turn one. We're going to get a safety car here early in this race. There it is, safety car. Oh, man. I think that's Ocon and Calapinto. Damn. Leclerc got by Piastri, huh? Hulkenberg. Oh, Hulkenberg. Tires down. Looks like it's about to come off the rim here. Wow, what a start, guys. Holy cow. We're gonna have to see a replay of that, but Max Verstappen, what a crazy restart he got there. Was able to take the lead. Create a hole. All right, well, there's the poll. Make sure you guys vote on who you think's gonna win. Oh, it was Hulkenberg into Ocon into Colapinto. Hulkenberg just sent it, man. Hulkamania. That's a K-Mag move. Dang. That's crazy, dude. Hulkenberg, that's a rare mistake. Albon went around too. Freaking Stroll, man. Jeez, what a freaking start, guys. That was ridiculous. Alrighty.
It looked like he went a tiny bit early and then he reacted. He backed off.
Well, Verstappen is a madman, dude. I think he's going to win this race at this point. Russell did not get a good start there. And Kanko Lando, surprisingly, ends up getting cleared out there to P2 off the start, which is insane.
I think if you go but don't go beyond that line, then you're okay. It's just whether you've gone beyond that line or not. Either way, that has cost Lewis Hamilton. He's down to 9th. Fernando Alonso started 8th. Sergio Perez started 9th and he's now 7th. Carlos Sainz started 7th. He's now 6th. Oscar Piastri has dropped down from 4th to 5th. Charles Leclerc moving up into 4th place. George Russell was pole and is now 3rd. Lando Norris was 3rd and is now 2nd. And Max Verstappen is exactly where he thought.
Turn 1, collision noted. Ocon Hulkenberg call up into incident. I think Hulkenberg really kind of pulled a Magnussen moment there. K-Mag moment all the way.
Two really quick cars, I think, here in the race. But it did look really tricky on that first lap, didn't it? You know, Oscar Piastri really struggling to get the tyres working, and they've got to go through that all again. Obviously, they're single file, but still, it's going to be tricky breaking for turn 1.
So at least one more lap then behind the safety car. Now, Nico Hulkenberg has been noted by race control, Rui Marquez, the race director in his 2nd Grand Prix, for causing a collision. Esteban Ocon and Franco Colapinto also have been noted, but it wasn't their fault. Was it Hulkenberg's fault, or is that just a turn 1 incident that happened?
It kind of looked like he wasn't getting the retardation that he expected under braking, because he locked the inside front, and then it was really,
I think I put all the blame on Hulkenberg on that one. I mean, that was just crazy.
Unusual moment, maybe he just didn't have enough brake temp.
Let's have a look at Max Verstappen's race start. Safety car coming in at the end of this lap. 2nd phase, really gets alongside and ahead of that Mercedes. New tyres, of course, he can probably brake a bit later.
Yeah, good move. And Lando's in front here under braking, but maybe he was thinking, well, Max might just push me off at the exit.
Hanging around on the outside.
Yeah, that was a great start by Verstappen.
Worked in the past for him, shall we say?
No,
We'll see if he can maintain the lead here, though.
You gotta go by your experience, I guess. But it was a shame because
Racing like a madman after, if you guys didn't catch qualifying, kind of impeded George Russell on the warm-up lap in qualifying. He ends up qualifying 1 spot ahead of Russell, but then they give Verstappen the 1 spot penalty grid, putting him back to P2 on the start behind Russell. So Verstappen has a lot to gripe about that. Really put a little bit of extra emphasis on trying to absolutely dominate this race.
If you're leading a safety car restart here.
Well, you want them to be affected
We'll
by
see
your
if he can.
downforce, really in the
So
last
far, so
corner.
good.
But, I mean, he's
To the lead.
really slow. He's weaving.
Looks like we're
so
gonna go
I'm
green
thinking
flag.
halfway through,
Racing.
he's gonna put his foot down.
Once again.
It's the way you try and do it. You try and trick the guy behind you into thinking, oh, I'm going slow, I'm weaving to warm my tyres up.
Now, obviously, you can't overtake before
What a crazy
the line.
start.
The line comes at you pretty quickly.
Right, here we go.
Verstappen's gone here. Lando Norris has stuck to him quite well. Carlos Sainz has stuck to Oscar Piastri quite well. And there's the gap between Verstappen and Norris down the straight. That's long enough for Verstappen to be able to defend that lead. But Norris might be under pressure from George Russell and Piastri.
Piastri's going to get by Russell or Leclerc here.
Piastri's got ahead of the Ferrari. Fernando Alonso looking for room on the inside of Lewis Hamilton. And round the outside, there goes Yuki Tsunoda.
Whoa, Tsunoda's around. Oh no, it's Lawson laying around. What the hell is going on in this race?
Start of this race, and already we've got cars out and potentially out of the race if they can't keep their engines running. Gravel on the track there as people have gone wide, and it's Max Verstappen who leads from Lando Norris and
What the hell just happened to Lawson?
Piastri up into 4th and Charles Leclerc 5th.
Yeah, it's a big move for Oscar to get in front of the Ferraris, exactly what they need for this Constructors' Championship. A little bit of movement back down the field as well, with Lewis gaining a position on Fernando. Fernando really losing out 2 positions into turn 1.
Yeah, down into
I think this Constructors' Championship fight is cooked for Ferrari, man. They got to have a big race here, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. No further investigation into Hulkenberg, Ocon, Colapinto.
They're
They're just going to chalk that up as a racing deal, huh?
Have it all to do here. 5th and 6th currently. Oscar Piastri is on the tail of George Russell, but that Mercedes looks like it has a decent speed over the McLaren down the straight. We will find out, as now Oscar Piastri getting a slipstream behind George Russell. No DRS until they come round here again. It looks really dusty out on the track tonight, doesn't it? As DRS is now enabled and George Russell holds on to 3rd place.
Yeah, well,
Looks like Verstappen might open up this gap where Lando don't have any DRS.
For Oscar Piastri down the outside.
Yeah, Leclerc's falling back. Sainz is right there with him.
Getting it across onto the inside, blocking the inside. That move was done early.
Stroll Albon incident under
This is Liam
investigation.
Lawson trying to get past Valtteri Bottas. He's got half a car alongside the Sauber. He's got 3/4 of a car alongside the Sauber. Into turn 1 he goes. He just couldn't hold it, could he?
He just went a bit too deep, didn't he? Got a
Lawson made a big
away.
mistake.
That snap oversteer.
That's
I
what
was
happened to
talking about,
Lawson.
These cold rear tires just comes out of nowhere.
And that is Fernando Alonso's struggles against Lewis Hamilton and Yuki Tsunoda.
So it's Red Bull, McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, your top 8. Tsunoda, Magnussen currently hanging on to those points in 9th and 10th.
For Fernando Alonso, who's dropped down to 12th.
And Kevin Magnussen has got past him as well. So 2 more cars past Fernando. I'm wondering if he does have a deployment issue there.
Could be right. As we see the replay of Fernando Alonso's struggles. The stewards have noted, sorry, race controls noted Valtteri Bottas and Liam Lawson for that collision, and also the earlier collision between Lance Stroll and Alex Albon. That has been investigated.
Yeah, I don't think Ferrari's got anything today.
He's got DRS behind George Russell, not enough to get him level. He's about 3 car lengths behind, as you can see, going into turn 1. The field.
Pierre Gasly, P11. Alonso's fallen all the way back down to 12th, man.
DRS, which is worth something like 20 kilometers an hour of extra pace by the end of the straight.
Yeah, fastest lap there by Max Verstappen. They're going to need all of that DRS here. It's you can pull a good gap on someone at that last corner. But the interesting one for me was Oscar. Very aggressive at the restart. The initial start, he really struggled to get tire temperature, but he seems to have worked that out because it was a great restart by him after the safety car, and he's right on the back now of George Russell.
So Max Verstappen, 1.5 seconds out in front over Lando Norris, the top 2 in the Drivers' Championship, and Max has got himself out.
We're 7 laps in. Currently, still Verstappen leads Norris 1.4 seconds. Russell's 1.4 back as well. Piastri right within striking distance of DRS range on Russell. And then Leclerc and Sainz are both about 2 seconds back, 2 and 3 seconds back, respectively, from Piastri. So it's looking over for Ferrari unless we have some crazy strategy play in this.
And Lance Stroll is going to be the next retiree.
And then frickin' Checo, P7. Crazy. Unbelievable.
Sets another fastest lap, and Lance Stroll might
Paid
be about
actors.
to retire from this race. He's also been hit with a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Alex Albon.
Stroll gets a penalty.
There we get on the screen, but
10-second penalty for Stroll.
It's been action-packed, hasn't it? A lot of incidents so far.
Certainly has. Bernie Collins, Lance
And
Stroll
retire the
being told
car.
to box to retire the car.
Well, I was trying to listen through the radio, Crofty, as much as I could, and
Stroll is down, so we're down 3 cars already.
Encourage him to stay out because he's still under investigation for that penalty. So they want to be able to serve that, and they want to try and learn as much as they can about the car. So a bit of an unusual one there that he's come in anyway.
Well, they've changed the tyres. They've sent him back out again.
Oh, he's not
I would
retiring.
imagine did serve that 10-second time penalty whilst he was in the pits. He rejoins this race. Liam Lawson is the next car ahead of him, just going through turn 7.
I don't know why they said retire the car and then they sent him back out.
For a driver, that's tough. Because it's turned into a test session, really.
Yeah.
And when you don't have that adrenaline, that excitement of racing other cars, it's really difficult. But it's necessary as well.
It's hard. Now, George Russell is closing in.
Russell is closing in on Norris.
He's taken about 4/10 out of,
If Russell's going to win this race, he's got to stay right there and get past Norris here and stay in touch with Verstappen.
I cannot believe it, man. 2 years with the same problem on the straights.
Aston Martin draggy again and losing top speed down the straights as Fernando Alonso has been noted for rejoining the track in an unsafe manner.
Unsafe rejoin note
Do you know,
for
there's no
Alonso.
risk of rain tonight, but it's literally pouring at Aston Martin in terms of whatever could go wrong seems to be going wrong.
Yeah. Oh, Lando Norris running a little bit wide.
Oh,
so
Lando
there
made a
was
mistake.
gravel on the circuit. He's just added to that. That's turn 4 and turn 5.
I tell you what, gents, and this is Fernando Alonso when he rejoins, and he rejoined right into the path of the Haas and had to bail out of that. Kevin Magnussen was the car on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I think he might be in trouble for that because that was pretty close.
Dang.
160
Yeah, that was a very
And
bad.
this we mentioned earlier on. Ted, I think you mentioned it.
False start on
Lewis
Hamilton.
no
Damn,
need
there's
for
so
a
many
good
issues
start.
in this race,
It's
dude.
taken a while for that to come through, but that often is a 5-second penalty that follows that sort of notification.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to swallow. At the moment, he's stuck behind Checo Perez, so not able to make any threat on the Ferraris, and yeah, that's going to hurt him at the first stop.
Let's have a look at the false start, or the potential false start.
Oh yeah, definite false start.
That is tight.
Sorry about that, guys.
But I think Lewis held his hands up and admitted that he had he'd been a bit too eager, and potentially there went before the lights went out. That's the key.
We don't see
Yep.
that ever from Lewis.
And now they are going to
Shows
retire
now
Stroll.
A tough weekend, and, spiral.
What's happened here is Lance Stroll is now retiring that car. They've served the 10-second penalty. In order for it not to be served, the next time I think he goes racing with a grid penalty or something like that. So come in, do a live stop, serve your penalty, get it over.
Well,
and done with, and then
Piastri
box the car.
closing in on
Whatever was
Russell.
wrong will send Ted down to Aston Martin, to
Russell
find out the reason
climbing up to
behind it.
Norris
Stewards
slowly,
are now looking
I guess.
at Bottas
Getting
and
closer to
Lawson.
that
There's so much
DRS
going on
range.
in the stewards' room and race control. We're barely talking
Or
about
to
what's
Norris.
happening on the track, and what is happening is Max Verstappen has opened up now a 2-second gap over Lando Norris. George Russell is 1.5 seconds further back.
K-Mag to the outside of Yuki.
Passing Yuki Tsunoda.
Oh, that's some good racing. Oh, contact.
Onto the gravel and then rejoins ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Yes.
Wow, that was a good battle there between Tsunoda and Magnussen. Dang.
What a move from Kevin. I did not think that was going to come off, but it did.
Well, that is that battle between Haas and Alpine and RB, and Haas
Bottas
once again
lost
scored
an
a
incident
couple of
under
points
investigation.
tonight, with RB scoring 1 and Alpine so far with no points on the board at all. That
Well, this
will
battle for the
carry
final
on and
point's
on
going to be
throughout
absolutely
this
wild
race.
in this
As
race right now
Pierre
between
Gasly
Tsunoda,
has got the
Gasly,
link
Alonso,
between
and
the
Joe.
two, and the
Here comes
sprint.
Gasly
And it
on
was
Tsunoda
just for half a
into
second
turn 1.
looking to make a move
Not
down
gonna be able to
the
make the
inside of
move.
Yuki Tsunoda, who saw that coming.
He did, and he moved a little bit late, I thought, there. Not that it really mattered, because I don't think Gasly was ready, close enough to pounce, but a little bit of movement you saw there. Hopefully that won't happen again, but no.
A bit like Oscar Piastri last night in his battle with George Russell. The stewards let that go, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Tsunoda moving on the braking. Too late. Copy.
So Pierre Gasly wants to have that looked at. Yuki Tsunoda might have an investigation against him. His teammate Liam Lawson, who's running last at the moment, has got a penalty for causing a collision.
And Lawson
Saw
gets the
earlier
penalty.
on, he'd been noted for that collision with Valtteri Bottas, who's still going, and behind his teammate Joe Guan Yu, the Sauber's running 13th and 14th. Stroll, Ocon and Colapinto are out. 17 cars on the track. Max Verstappen leads them around. We're on lap 11. Ted, what have you got for us?
So I'm following the lap times at the front with tyre degradation. You know how I like tyre.
Wonder what that penalty's going to be, 5
They're all
seconds.
managing to a certain degree. George Russell is managing
2 seconds, Ted.
10-second penalty for Lawson. Jeez, man, this race has been nuts.
Okay, mate.
The last thing Alpine need is another pink car out in this race, isn't it? So Pierre Gasly's their only hope. But yeah, just George Russell managing his tyres a little bit. That's allowed Piastri to close right up behind the Mercedes. It looks like Piastri's got better pace. Can't
All the
find his
drama
way
so
round
far, dude.
at the moment. But
Crazy.
whether Max Verstappen, Crofty, is at the front managing his tyres or not, blistering pace and moving away from Lando Norris.
Thanks ever so much, Ted. Lap 12 there, 2 seconds. The gap out in front, and the pit window opens round about now. No one seems to be complaining about their tyres too much, but they shouldn't be, because we've had that many laps behind the safety car.
Yeah, exactly, and they don't really know what the hard tyres are going to do yet either, so they want to push these as long as they can. This is a great battle we have here in the Constructors' Championship, and these points mean so much to these teams, and they're fighting for P9. Kevin Magnussen with Sonoda-san and Gasly behind. 3 teams that really want that position in the championship.
Yeah, 5 points Haas have over Alpine currently, and 7 points over RB, and we keep saying it's a $30 million difference in terms of the prize money paid out between 8th in the championship and 6th in the championship. In terms of points for this race, Max Verstappen with the fastest lap is taking max points currently.
It's not all his own way.
Yeah, I don't know that. I thought that Russell was going to close that gap to Norris and be able to contend, but he has not been able to do so. The Ferraris look stagnant. K-Mag holding down that 9th position right now. Sonoda holding down the final point as Gasly might be trying to challenge.
What we can see, Verstappen's tyres similar to ours.
There goes Gasly. Big move to the outside. Gasly up to the points.
Gasly does get past Yuki Tsunoda, and whilst the incident on the previous lap, between Tsunoda and Magnussen has been noted, and whilst Gasly wanted an incident looked at between himself
Alpine
and
in the
Tsunoda,
points.
this time around, the Frenchman has got
And look at the Salvas. They're not even that far behind either, man. There's a chance.
Now let's forget that one. Let's move on. But now his next challenge is Kevin Magnussen.
Joe Guan Yu as we ride on the straights with him. And into turn 1, you can see his teammate Valtteri Bottas and Liam Lawson coming together, and that is how Liam Lawson picked up that 10th place penalty. And this is, yes, the off-board view. Not been his best night in Formula 1 so far for Liam Lawson.
No, he hasn't, and it's so tricky down there with. You feel like you've got grip and it just goes away from you so quickly. But yeah, he was a little bit too.
Yeah, that was a big time move. That's 10-second penalty. Awesome. Norris just set the fast lap.
Behind him, Hamilton is under investigation for a false start as Lando Norris now sets a new fastest lap of the race, and that gap around about 1.8 seconds behind Perez. Hamilton's got DRS, so he's got that extra boost.
Joe might be trying to challenge with Tsunoda here. Or no, that's Alonso. Tsunoda, I don't know what's going on with the RB buy one get one free team tonight. Alonso to the outside of Tsunoda. Oh, near contact. And Alonso up to P11. God, the RB Cash App Visa team, man. Hamilton gets a penalty. 5-second penalty.
At the moment, but it is under investigation.
Yeah, he might get done there for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Lewis Hamilton has a 5-second penalty for a false start. We rather thought that was coming when we saw the replay of it. So his job now, try and get past Sergio Perez as soon as he can and open up a bigger gap so that it doesn't cost him a place come the pit stops. No further investigation. Fernando Alonso for that bit where he went off the track and rejoined. It wasn't unsafe for the view.
No further investigation on Alonso.
It's surprising to see how difficult the top 8 are finding it to overtake the DRS. You know, the rest of the field, I mean, it's just the racing is amazing. It's really fun to watch.
Oh, Leclerc just put down the fast lap.
Their time, looking after the tires, and then they'll pounce a little bit later, close to the pit stops.
Well,
Piastri's only 5'10", 6'10" behind Russell. Russell's losing lots of time to Lando.
That's quite a big chunk of DRS to take out.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Too much?
It's a lot. Well, you'd say at the moment, yes, but then from 10 backwards, no, it seems perfect.
Joe Guan Yu,
Zhou to the outside, Salva up into 12th. But Zhou.
Moves ahead of Yuki Tsunoda and up into 12th.
Tsunoda is struggling.
The driver is saying it really is frustrating that the car is coming good in the latter stages of the race. Where has this potential been all year? In the early stages of the season, the car wasn't bad. Their pit stops were absolutely horrendous. Then they solved the pit stops and the car was absolutely horrendous. And now they're finally doing some racing. Joe's best finish of the year, Sauer's best finish of the year, 11th place in Bahrain. And he's now behind Fernando Alonso in 12th.
Dang.
After a decent move.
Sauber, they're 2 positions away from points.
Race in Formula 1 next year, so a couple of good races could be really good for them for finding drives elsewhere or maybe in the future in F1.
Speculation that Joe Guan Yu might go to Ferrari as their reserve driver for next season. Robert Schwartzman, I think, has said he's not going to be with the team. And Joe wanting to stay around F1 rather than concentrate on another series, because you never know what opportunities might open up for 26.
Exactly. Schwartzman's going to be IndyCar, so he's going to be a little bit busy, I think.
I'm pushing 100%, bro.
I know, man. Hang in there. Hang in there.
Dude, he is just complaining. I don't blame him, man. That freaking buy one get one free team is just not looking good today.
As he went through the last corner, and maybe he thinks other people are pushing too much, or the team do.
We shall see. Sky Race Control next. Bernie Collins.
Yes, Crofty, and you might be thinking, what can Norris do? What's going to happen with Norris and Verstappen? Well, I think he's a little bit too far back to do the box to overtake manoeuvre, but it is getting close to that pit window. However, Piastri is close enough to Russell if they're prepared to take a risk on the drop it back, and it's only a few laps away from that optimum one-stop window.
Thanks ever so much indeed, Bernie, which has shifted a bit, of course, because of those laps behind the safety car. And we're on board now with Oscar Piastri chasing George Russell. McLaren running second and fourth, Ferrari fifth and sixth. This is not enough for the Constructors' Championship to be decided tonight.
No, it's not. We're just through turn 14. So quick, isn't it? I think the thing you can see with the McLaren, it's actually able to close through those corners, which is a surprise. And Oscar did. Big snap.
Whoa, Piastri made a mistake.
Yeah, he said that the mid-speed, low-speed corners are the corners that are more affected when you're running close to a car in front, which is unusual. And they are running more downforce on that car than the Mercedes. So he will catch, but then struggle a little bit more on the straights to overtake.
He still stay within DRS barely.
He was going through the detection point, and he was within 1 second. But as a driver, how frustrating is it when you know your car is better through the corners but slower on the straights?
Well, yeah, it's frustrating, but then you as a team have chosen that direction. You know, there are many benefits of having more downforce on the car because you can look after the tyres more, and you can get close enough to get that DRS.
This is that moment again. Oh. He did well to hold on to that and not
that was a
disappear
good
off
save by
into the
Piastri.
gravel and towards the barriers. But even before that, maybe Piastri putting Russell under pressure, or maybe the pace of the Mercedes not helping George.
Russell's still maintaining that gap to Verstappen, staying close enough. He just set the fastest lap.
Third and fourth.
Let's check pressures, tire pressures. The way I drive picture is likely.
Pressures are fine, Charles, for now. Pressures are fine.
Now this time last year, a lot of problems with the tyres, where the curbs, the pyramid edges have been rounded off and lowered down to make it a bit easier on the tyres. So what's Charles referring to there?
Well, he's obviously being
Land
very
of
aggressive
another
on
fastest
curbs.
lap.
Normally the issues are when you go over the curb with the tyre and come back onto the track. So it's the inside edge of the tyre that can get damaged there. Yeah, so I'm guessing he's being...
No further investigation on Tsunoda Magnussen.
And that aggression at the moment not helping him.
Gasly's closing in on Magnussen.
Seconds of Oscar Piastri, the car in front, as we ride on board down the straight here with Pierre Gasly. Kevin Magnussen, the car in front of him. Gasly currently into the points. Concertina effect through turn one as the gap closes down. Doesn't look like 3.2 seconds, does it? Looks more like about half a second there.
Yeah, 0.32 of a second.
Yeah, maybe.
But this is a really important challenge on the Haas of Kevin. I'm also surprised. I didn't think they had this pace, Alpine, in the race, but he's looking very strong.
You haven't been chatting to Oliver Oak.
See if they can Gasly close that gap down.
Certainly with Pierre Gasly, in the last few races, his teammate Esteban Ocon out and started last in this race, and he has one more.
It's 6/10 of a second.
He's replaced by Jack Doohan for next season at the Enstone team, and Esteban Ocon goes off to replace Kevin Magnussen at Haas alongside Ollie Behrman.
Verstappen
Had a winning weekend in F2 here in Qatar this weekend. Max Verstappen responds to Lando Norris's recent charge and sets a new fastest lap of the race. He's now 1.8 seconds, give or take a few thousandths, ahead of Norris in second place.
How slow we compare to the others?
So front runners are mid-25s.
Mid-25s. It's a second.
Well, it's a second and a half compared to Max Verstappen, sadly for Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, he is stuck obviously behind Checo, and you don't really know your outright pace until you do have that clear air. You might think that their actual pace is okay, but yeah, when you lose that much downforce behind the car in front, it's tricky to tell.
Ted, let's head down to you.
And when, Jensen, you lose all that downforce behind the car in front, isn't it better to get some clear air? And that's the question that the strategists are asking themselves on the pit wall. I can see lots of discussions on the McLaren pit wall. Had there not been any safety cars, now, Crofty, lap 19 was the opening of the pit window, the earliest you could...
I mean, the only one that's really complained about tire wear to an extent has been Leclerc so far. So I don't know.
But I'm wondering who's fancying a cheeky undercut
Not sure
Maybe Oscar Piastri?
when this pit window is going to be, because these medium tires have stretched out quite a ways. I mean, yeah, we did have a safety car, killed a few laps.
Mercedes, but yeah, just wondering if McLaren might be thinking of trying an undercut to get Piastri in some clear air to try the undercut on Russell. What are Piastri's gaps like if he were to pit now with the long pit loss?
Well, he's a second and a half behind George Russell. Lando is a second and 8/10 behind Max Verstappen. But Jensen, the problem is, and I think Lando is just about okay to get into a gap.
And Lando tyre update so far, tyres as per model.
Bottas trying to get by Sonoda here.
I feel like I'm killing them, but they seem okay. Yes.
He didn't seem as excited about that message as Will Joseph, his race engineer, did. Trouble is, if you're medium tyre at the moment, you're going to go onto the hard tyre. Undercut sounds possible, but how quickly does the hard tyre warm up?
Here goes Bottas to the outside.
Of Yuki Tsunoda and into 13th.
Yeah,
He'll make that pass on Sonoda. Sonoda dropping like a rock.
Yeah, it's tricky to get the tyres working out the pits here. They'll be brand new. They'll be nice and shiny, so you've got to get that off the surface of the tyre, and it's tricky around here. The way the surface is and how low the temperature are. By the end of the pit lane on your
That gap between Verstappen and Norris pretty much leveled out at like 1.8 seconds. Russell's losing time. Piastri's losing time. Leclerc kind of closing up to Piastri a little bit.
It's not like you're doing a lot of straights. You're doing corners where you need the grip, and you don't get the grip.
Gasly still can't find his way around K-Mag.
There's no massively heavy braking zone.
Verstappen just set another fastest lap, 124.8.
Interestingly, Max has been asking for more front wing, so going up on front wing, a steeper angle, which he's basically struggling with understeering the car, and he's in the lead, so he doesn't have dirty air giving him understeer, so he would struggle if he was behind McLaren.
And he's also just been told to stop managing the tyres. You can stop managing it quite so much, which is probably not. Well, probably the second least exciting message Lando Norris is going to get in the last 2 minutes as well. The undercut zone. A low threat from Lando Norris at the moment. Max is not managing those tyres as much, and the threat from the undercut disappears as each revolution of the wheels goes
Max
by.
is putting on another Max Verstappen masterclass.
So I think you need to be close to within DRS to make the undercut work because of that warm-up that Jensen described in the hard tyre.
Piastri's trying to close back into DRS range on Russell, though. That's going to be interesting to see if the McLarens try to do some alternate strategy here to get a double podium for the constructors. I really don't know about these Ferraris. I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything here.
Magnussen Gasly argument, so that's maybe not worth the risk from McLaren side at this stage.
Oh, Piastri back into DRS
the
range.
undercut, where you stop before your rival, isn't necessarily the best thing. Is the overcut the best thing? Stay on those tyres for a little bit longer, maybe hang on for a safety car.
As long as we don't see a drop off on the tyres, if it's just gradually losing grip, I think that is definitely the best move.
It's Valtteri Bottas all by himself.
Ooh, Bottas.
We see a lot of that, don't we, where they understeer off the track.
Oof. He just got by Sonoda too. Now he is off track.
On the throttle and it's just understeered and pushed him on.
Looking at the lap times, I'm not seeing a drop off at the moment. Told by the engineers, Andrea Stella actually told me this one, that it was negative dead.
Poor Sonoda, man. That car is an absolute dump truck today.
Even though the tyres were losing performance, the lap times were getting quicker because the fuel was burning off and the track was getting grippier. Are we going to get the same sort of thing in this race, I wonder?
Yeah, and fuel load is, makes a big difference around here, carrying fuel around these high-speed and mid-speed corners. Interestingly, if you look at the Ferraris, they look like they were dropping away from the McLarens, but look, Charles is slowly been catching Piastri, and he's only 2.2 behind.
Yeah, Leclerc is catching Piastri.
A couple of tenths up on this particular lap. Piastri getting close.
I think it's because Russell's backing everybody up. He just doesn't have the pace. Mercedes is off today. I thought they were going to be the team to beat going into the weekend.
terms of the pace of the car.
It's just
the
crazy how
pace
this
of that is
F1
then
season,
maybe
it just
the
changes
result
week to
He's-
week.
he's-
Everything's
he's
just
getting
different from
frustrated.
one
You
week
can
to the
see it
next.
because he just got onto the throttle a little bit
Unpredictable.
too early through the apex there, pushed him wide. Big snap
Here comes
of pressure
Piastri,
on,
big
on
time
Jensen
run
there.
into
If he
one.
didn't
Not gonna be able
have
to do
that,
anything with it.
he
Not
might
close
have been
enough.
able to challenge George there.
So, George Russell lapping in the 125s at the moment. Oscar Piastri on the last lap with a 125.2, a 125.5 for Russell, with DRS helping Piastri, of course, as well. What this is doing is stopping Piastri from pitting because he can't get the gap to Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, so it's a, as I said, a frustrating position that he's found himself in. He really has to get past George. So he is giving it his all, even if it damages the tyres, I think.
And I think George Russell on the radio just hinting that he's struggling a little bit. Whoa.
Oh
Second
yeah,
time in that
Piastri is
corner,
digging.
Piastri has
That's
got a bit of
another
wobble.
time he's made a mistake on that final turn right there.
Yeah, he actually went off the track, didn't he? So I think if he had made the move, I'm not sure what that would have been.
His right front tyre might have just
Yeah,
come
Russell's
off
now
the bit of the white
8.8
line. I'd like to
behind
see a photo
Norris. That's
of
crazy,
that one,
man.
to be honest.
It's a
I've,
two-man race.
I've seen closer. I've seen a more slam dunk track limits, and he hasn't been flashed up for a track limits violation there.
He looks like he's in the same position as he was last lap now. So if he can get that exit,
Verstappen fastest lap. Him and Norris should be trading it.
this lap.
Here we go.
Russell's coming in. He might
Russell's
not
coming
need
in.
to,
Lap
pit,
24.
because you can see the Mercedes crew then rushing out into the pit lane as Verstappen sets a new fastest lap of the race. Russell second, Piastri now third, Leclerc moves into fourth, George Russell stops, on go the hard compound tyres, Sainz, Perez and Hamilton.
Oh, issues.
Oh, very slow, go past the
Very slow stop. Issues on the right rear tire for George Russell.
Kevin Magnussen. It would have been nice and comfortable had he not have been stationary for 7 seconds. That has cost George Russell one place as Magnussen goes past him.
Oh,
2 places
man.
as Gasly goes past him. Maybe
He's gonna blend in
another
right here
place as
behind
Alonso
Fernando.
goes past him. And that gap to Fernando Alonso and Kevin Magnussen and Pierre Gasly, the Mercedes thought they had, has all been undone.
Dang.
Off the front now.
So 1.2 to the front.
Is the car broken or just...
We're just underbalanced by the look of it, Lewis, just underbalanced.
That's Lewis Hamilton's woes with a car that just doesn't have the
Wow.
balance
That
it
just
needs.
changed everything.
George Russell's woes
Mercedes might not
after
even get a podium
that
now.
stop, that lengthy stop has cost him 3 places on the track and has given Ferrari a chance to jump him in the pit stops.
Yeah, that hurts when you've been working so hard for your position on the track and then they struggled to get the tyre off.
Yeah, it was the right rear just wasn't coming off. They needed like 3 stabs. It was like a driver with understeer going through a high-speed corner. 1 stab, 2 stab, 3, it'll come. And then they finally had the purchase.
Yeah, Oscar got
Leclerc
released.
is
He had
closing
DRS
to Piastri a little
first
bit.
sector and,
Got
was
it down
only
under
a 10
2
box car
seconds
in that
now.
lap, so he's definitely got the pace in the car and in himself. Now he's been released from George Russell.
This kind of opens the door for Ferrari now to get on the podium.
An email to the race director saying, yeah, that DRS zone could it be lengthened a bit for next year? That's maybe by another 50 metres, because that's cost me. I could have got past George, and now we're seeing the pace of that car in the constructors' championship. 42 points, the advantage for McLaren over Ferrari currently, not enough to win them the World Championship tonight.
42-point gap between McLaren and Ferrari. It's looking over, man. My bold prediction with that one is not going to come true.
But,
Unless some craziness happens, you never
hard
know.
for Russell,
Here comes
and now
Bottas.
He can't put those tyres to good use. You know, first of all, you have the tyre warm-up issue, but now he's stuck. He's stuck.
Oh, that might be the best pits I've ever seen Sauber have all year.
Yeah.
Big frustration.
Good stop for Valtteri Bottas as he makes his potentially one and only pit
Leclerc's
stop.
1.8 behind Piastri now.
Is good enough that it could drag the 2 Ferraris of Sainz and Leclerc and Sainz with him. So rather than pitting straight away, might just benefit Ferrari to stay out there for a couple more laps.
Well, they all want to clear the Magnussen-Gasly-Alonso fight, don't they?
Yeah.
And I don't think they're in that position at the moment. So, a great lap there by Leclerc. He's quickest of the race, 24.8, and quicker than Piastri in front.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz put in a 25.3. He's the one that, well, if you were Ferrari, you'd probably bring Carlos Sainz in first because he'd be under threat from George Russell. And Russell just making his way around the final turn at the moment. We'll see what his first lap time is on those hard compound tyres.
They're going to have to do something here with Sainz because he's definitely not close enough. Not like Leclerc is.
For George Russell. So Leclerc comfortably ahead, Sainz ahead by 2/10.
Yeah, and George is on the back now of Fernando Alonso, 0.9 of a second, so already getting the dirty air from the car in front.
Bernie Collins, a Sky Race Control. We're watching the fight between Leclerc, Sainz and Russell. Would you, as a strategist, bring Sainz in at the end of this lap? Because Russell will only get faster when those hard tyres get up to temperature.
Yeah, so Russell should get faster as those tyres get up to temperature, like you say, Crofty. But the thing is, Alonso is currently lapping 1 second a lap slower than the Ferrari. So if Alonso can hold Russell up at all, any extra margin allows that pit window to be a little bit safe in case they have a slow stop. But let's see what they do.
That's true. And in the first sector, 2/10 Carlos Sainz ahead of George Russell. As out in front,
Also needs to get by Alonso here. 1.6 second gap between Norris and Verstappen. They've opened up a massive gap over Piastri and Leclerc.
So yeah,
That's
I don't
crazy.
think anyone would be rushing to the pits to put the hard tyre on quite yet.
Thing is here, it's such a slow stop, isn't it? The 25 seconds you
This is
lose
gonna be a
by
one-stopper.
making your pit stop. The longer you can avoid it, the better, because you're waiting for that safety car if it comes out.
The car slowly beginning to turn. Pretty much. Copy Lewis. Yeah, it's not seen it now.
Currently in 7th.
Russell, he's going to try and get by Alonso here into turn 1. Not close enough. Yeah, not close enough.
Still can't get past
He
Fernando
tried, though.
Alonso, which gives
He gave it
Ferrari
one a
that
valiant
more
effort.
Time to breathe a bit more easily.
Yeah, and he was 9/10 off of Leclerc there, so yeah, he's losing a lot of time here. But it's tough, it's frustrating, but you just got to get your head down. It's not over yet. We've got another 30 laps.
It's a difficult one to try and explain, because obviously George Russell is not on the same part of the track as the two Ferraris, but he is racing against Leclerc and Sainz, which he probably didn't expect to do, given that he was starting on pole tonight. And he's having now balance issues on the hard side.
Yeah, he's struggling behind Alonso.
And Lewis was
It's
saying
just
the
killed
car
his
was
race.
starting to turn. So I don't really know what that is. Obviously, I understand George's point, where it's just the front is just not getting him into the
Mercedes
corner.
found a way to
So
botch
he's
it.
just having to wait and wait before he can get on the throttle, and it's hurting his exits.
So here's the thing, Jensen, right? George Russell's the first one really of the leading contenders that's gone onto the hard tyres tonight, and we've not seen people running the hard tyres like Vegas last week. This is all very useful data to all the other teams to say, yeah, the hard tyre is not really a very good tyre in this race.
Yeah, he's the guinea pig for everyone.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, sometimes it works. Sometimes you jump on that tyre early and you get that advantage, but it doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. Max was saying he wanted 2 turns more front wing. I think that's what everyone's going to be wanting after George's comments on how much.
A-Mag's down pit lane.
He's looking for George Russell down the straight. He's not coming at you, Fernando. He's not making any impression on an Aston Martin that Alonso was saying was having a lot of problems.
And I would not have predicted that Pick and Aston were going to be competing for the final point here.
Who had the
Well, we'll see how it all plays out. I still think Haas is going to score points. I don't know where Alpine's going to lay out.
His pit stop in the race. And let's have a look at Lewis Hamilton's struggles.
So we're going into turn 2 here.
Yeah, and Hamilton still got that 5-second penalty he has to assess. Ooh, sideways.
It's so calm when you just
Oh, man, what a save by Hamilton. Damn.
It looked like he was a little bit offline with the understeer, and then it just snapped on him. And that's the way that it is around here. It's tough. There's no gradual slide in an F1 car around this track.
Well, Piastri did close a little bit more time back down to Norris, down to 8.4. Close about 2 seconds on.
Perez. And the gap between Hamilton and Perez was 2.1 seconds at the end of lap
2.3 over
27.
Leclerc, so Leclerc is
Lap
also
28
closing.
gone to 3.1 seconds.
It's going to be interesting to see when your front runners decide to hit those hard tires, seeing what's happening with George Russell here.
Second of each other at the moment. And they've all got a pretty decent pace, actually. Russell, the only one on the hard tires.
Russell, but DRS, big time move into turn 1. Can he make it happen? No, still can't make it pass. He's going to be frustrated.
Slower than the top 3 in this race. Make that the top 4 with Leclerc as well.
Yeah, it's a massive pace advantage they have still on those medium tyres. Obviously, George is stuck behind Fernando, but I don't think he's got that pace. It's just he's not. You can see the understeer in the car. He's just not able to carry.
Mercedes is pedestrian once again.
It's frustrating.
You know, we were saying how tight it was if Ferrari wanted to make a pit stop with Carlos Sainz to get him in and out again ahead of George Russell. It wouldn't be tight now 7 seconds stationary for Russell. He lost 5 seconds really at the pit stop, but he'd have about 4 seconds.
We got a yellow
advantage
sector 1.
now as and when he wants to come in. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1,
It's
but
cleared.
not
Yellow
for
flag
very
sector
long.
1. Now it's cleared.
Maybe Kevin Magnussen had a bit of a moment as we ride on board with his teammate Nico Hulkenberg.
K-Mag had a moment.
And we've got a double yellow flag being waved. I think Kevin Magnussen's going around very slowly.
Oh, we got debris.
Someone has lost
Wing mirror.
a wing mirror, which you drivers keep telling me you can't see out of anyway. But tell you what, Jensen, that's in the middle of the straight. That needs moving, and that
We might get
be
a safety car
virtual
here.
Safety car to allow the marshals to come on a movement, because it's not on a racing line. But if George Russell wanted an overtake here, he'd run over a wing mirror, and he is going for the overtake because he's passed that wing mirror. Yeah, he passed the double yellows. What do you do as the race director at this
Norris
stage?
down to 1.3.
And I'm pretty sure you're going to tell me where to go, but if you had any pace to get...
Speak louder, please.
You'll tell me where to go, but if you had any pace to Verstappen, we'd take it, push up to him.
They're telling him to push now.
So hopefully he has. He looks like he's been pushing. He's been keeping Max Verstappen very honest. He's 1.8 seconds behind. It's been fluctuating. Now 1.2 seconds behind. He took a big chunk out of him in the first.
Oh, it was
sector.
Albon's wing.
That's where
Or
the
mirror.
came from. We found the culprit. And they're standing
Here we go.
by at
Ferrari.
Maybe thinking that we're going to have a virtual safety car, but standing by and then going back in, because race control are still happy to cover this with double waved yellows, and we can see just beyond the finish of the pit lane.
Wow.
Wing mirror stations. Ted, to you.
Yeah, so some of the marshals actually on the pit wall can see it. They're just waiting for the instruction from race control. If they want them to jump over the wall and go and get it, it's quite dangerous. So there would have to be probably a full safety car rather than a virtual. Anyway, all the teams are on tenterhooks down here, Crofty. Everybody's thinking
This
about
could change the
Verstappen.
race
Now Ferrari
in a weird
has
way
the
here.
hard tyres, went back in to the pit box. McLaren thinking about it as well. I love that radio message from Will Joseph to Lando. He didn't tell him where to go, did he? But instead kind of said, speak louder, and then didn't respond. Great stuff.
Max Verstappen has responded.
Check if you lifted for the yellow. There was a yellow in the middle of the straight.
Yeah, there was. We'll have a look. Make sure he lifted.
I'm assuming he's talking.
Lando did not lift.
Yeah, Max.
I hope you report that then.
Max has got his wing mirrors, and he's looking at Lando Norris, and he'd seen that
Verstappen
Lando
fast
Norris had closed
slap.
the gap between
124.4, damn.
And now
It's
just
crazy.
have a look at that, please, because he should have lifted on the straight, and he should. It's a double waved yellow down there.
Yeah, he lost about 6/10 in that first sector. Didn't
Oh,
he?
they gotta not bring in the
So,
Ferrari. They
he
keep
did the right
faking
thing.
them out, man.
They got to do something here, because you can't just do the rest of the race with a yellow flag on the straight, because that takes away the only opportunity to overtake. So we're basically going to finish in the positions we're in.
It seems strange to me that they've not moved it. Bernie Collins, I don't know if you were at the Silverstone base team when a bit fell off Sergio Perez's car in Hungary once. It was the only excitement we had that year, because they had a safety car and it closed everyone up.
I was up there when lots of bits fell off at various points, Crofty, but yeah, it is difficult. I think what they're weighing up here is there a good enough gap between Magnussen and Verstappen currently? There's quite a big gap on track, and I wonder if they think they can clear it in that time, but it's not a lot of time for someone to get out and back in. And they're
Lossing
probably
up by
weighing up an
Hulkenberg. He's in the
unfair
pit
advantage
lane.
they would give by having a very, very short VSC. If it was a VSC or a safety car now, I think everyone who's on the tyres they started on would stop.
Yeah.
The team that would struggle the most would be Ferrari, because there's only 4.3 seconds between their cars. The other cars have quite a nice gap to be able to stack in a safety car VSC situation.
Yes, the double stacking that would be going on there. Ferrari do have new hard tyres for Leclerc and Sainz. Everyone's got new hard tyres. In this,
Yeah, Ferrari's in a
race.
conundrum too, for sure.
Saw there Nico Hulkenberg coming in for what was his second stop of this race. It's a 15-second loss, 15-second loss under a safety car, a virtual safety car, if you make a pit stop. And it's a 25-second loss if you stop during the course of the race in its entirety. Is this where Lando didn't lift? got to say, listening to that, Jensen, I
Yeah.
can hear a lift down the
He
straight.
didn't lift.
He didn't lift. I mean, I wonder how many did lift.
That's not the point. We're talking about Lando Norris in this instant, and I don't know what anyone else did down there.
Yeah.
If there's a double yellow, it says slow down and prepare to stop, and at the very least, lift through that double yellow zone.
Was that a double yellow at that moment?
Well,
Or was it a solid yellow?
well, maybe it wasn't. It was a solid yellow.
Yeah.
To be
But
honest.
still, you're right, 100%.
Verstappen fast lap again. He's opening that gap to Lando.
Hopefully they'll be running through everyone in that scenario. So.
I can't see any yellow flags waving down.
Because they are
the
lapping
is, but we're
Bottas.
at the wrong camera angle there.
The two cars behind don't have their DRS open.
No. Oh,
Did you
and someone's just gone straight over that wing mirror.
Bottas just hit the mirror.
In the Sauber has just gone over that wing mirror, which is kind of what we were saying could happen. That if anyone moves over the racing line, they're going to go over it. I don't know why that piece of debris wasn't removed under a safety car or a virtual safety car. It seemed far safer to me to do that.
Yeah,
There are no yellow flags down the main straight, by the way, at the moment.
But interestingly, the two cars, which is Valtteri and Charles, do not have their DRS open. And I'm wondering it's because they know it's a yellow and you shouldn't have the DRS open.
Yeah.
But I don't
Oh
think
yeah,
it's
he
destroyed something.
obliterated it.
I'm looking at a Marshall.
puncture.
Oh, a puncture for Lewis.
Oh, Hamilton.
Now, as he picked up debris on that main straight, and that's cost him. He's at turn 5 at the moment.
Oh,
That would
man.
be the most likely outcome, and I think Carlos Sainz is also in trouble with all that debris.
Oh my goodness, the drama, dude.
To run over it and get a puncture. I think Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton both in trouble in this race. And the question has to be asked, why wasn't it dealt with a lot sooner?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I really don't. So both front left puncher.
Oh, and Carlos Sainz just needs to slow down before he totally destroys his car. And they'll be telling him that at the moment as Sergio Perez gets past him, moves into 5th place. Oscar Piastri has pitted. And to be honest, not a bad idea to get off the main straight and use the pit lane, even if we do get a safety car currently, because they've obviously got a gap that they can pit him in.
This is
still
nuts,
keep
man.
ahead of
Sainz
Sergio
and
Perez, but
Hamilton
that's
issues.
what's gonna happen. Perez has gone through now, and there's the debris. You can see it on the track just by the white line and the pit lane exit.
Yeah, and there was a little bit coming out the pit lane as well. So on your brand new tyres, that's
Here
something
comes
you've got to
Sainz
stay
to
away from.
pit.
So stay as right as you can coming out the pit lane.
Right.
Oh, they're having issues.
Yeah, well, the
Oh no.
jack underneath the car. They're going to need to have a little look at that, and away he goes. Because it wouldn't surprise me if there was damage to the floor, front wing as well, given what we saw of Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, this constructor championship looks like it might be a wrap, boys.
Place. Carlos Sainz, if he's lucky, is going to get behind Yuki Tsunoda.
There's the
Now we
safety
get a
car.
safety car.
Maybe
I'd
not.
say That's about 4 laps too late.
And Verstappen and Norris haven't pitted or Leclerc.
No, Hamilton finally
Hamilton
gets
down.
into the pits from 15th place. Max Verstappen is coming in.
Just
Verstappen, Norris, and Leclerc had not pitted.
It's not going well for Lewis Hamilton, that is for sure. Nico Hulkenberg continues down the main straight. Charles Leclerc comes into the pits. You lose way less time stopping behind a safety car than you do when you're stopping in normal racing conditions. Verstappen's stop is about 8/10 faster than Lando Norris's.
Yeah, massive advantage for the
Oh.
drivers that hadn't pitted yet.
Piastri.
So
Yeah, it
Sergio
is
Perez
massive. Massive
just
advantage.
looking for where he is. He's still out on the track. Top 3, Verstappen, Norris and Leclerc. Piastri had pitted just before the safety car.
Hamilton will be a lap
Perez now
down.
pits for Red Bull. Piastri carries on and will move up into 4th place. Hamilton's back into this race. You've
Here
got
comes
to feel for him.
Checo.
You really do. He's been struggling all this race. Then picks up a load of debris after his former teammate Valtteri Bottas had run over that wing mirror, which really should have been, and we'll say it again, should have been cleared away an awful lot sooner.
Yeah, it could have destroyed. It has destroyed two cars' races, and also Bottas hit it. I don't know what damage he had from it as well. So, yeah, I don't know what they were hoping for.
Check if it's all okay with the front left tire. It doesn't feel okay. Copy.
RB8.
It's a bit of damage.
George Russell.
They're
hits
bringing
again.
Russell back
Hard
in.
tyres going on. He had a second set of new tyres, I think, George Russell. So they're going to persist with the hard tyre to the end of this race. And now the rest will
Joe's
get to come
down.
in as well. Joe Guan Yu, we just saw making his stop. Fernando Alonso.
This just shook the whole
making his
field
stop.
up.
What they're going to need to do is just to sweep away that debris before he can get going again. Russell out into this race. He is now ahead of Fernando Alonso, and he's ahead of Carlos Sainz. That puncture has cost Carlos Sainz in his battle with George Russell. Pierre
Joe is
Gasly
now in the
is
points.
sixth,
Salva for
pits in behind
points.
the
Salva for
safety car.
points.
That's good points for Alpine. If he can hang on to that, that will be 8 points. And taking Alpine as it stands at the
The
moment,
freaking Perez is
Alpine's
sitting in
sixth
5th,
place.
dude. No way, dude. No way.
Obviously, he's got George and Carlos behind him, but the pace in the Alpine has been very good, so maybe he can hold on.
Certainly has. Safety car's going to come through the pit lane at the end of this lap to give the marshals a chance to go and sweep away that debris. And while they're doing that, they might want to sweep away some debris on other parts of the track as well. Some of the gravel that's come on the track. Bernie Collins, to you.
This is gonna be a long safety
Yeah, so
car.
it's just going to come in a little bit quickly on Russell. You've seen that.
Oh, they're bringing him down pit lane.
2 seconds, Bernie.
Why have we
Probably
put
so
the
they can
hards on?
clean it up.
Why have we put the hards back on, mate?
George Russell. Why did we put the hards back on? These are
George
crap.
Russell wants answers to that, and I am a tad baffled as to why George Russell has a set of hard tyres on his car once again. As I look down, he didn't have a new set of mediums. That might be the answer. Bernie, see you again.
Yeah, I was just going to come in on that from Russell, and they have used mediums available, but I think the thing is they are worried about the length, the stint that this hard tyre has to do from here.
Thanks ever so much, Bernie. And that's Lewis Hamilton's moment where his race that had been not exactly sparkling for him, struggling with the balance of his car, got even worse. And Carlos Sainz, I think, instantly felt the effects of that rear puncture.
I mean, they left that damn debris out there for too long.
It's a safety
My
thing as
opinion.
well.
That was
Doing
pretty
over
ridiculous.
200 miles an hour at that point.
I mean, if you were gonna
Yeah,
just call the safety
and
car, you
get
might
a
as well just
puncture
call it, man.
At that speed, yeah, it's dangerous and so disappointing for these guys. Fighting out there for position, giving it their all, and then it's taken away by a puncher from a rogue mirror on the circuit that shouldn't have been there.
Rui Marquez in his second race as race director for Formula One. Has had a busy weekend with F1 Academy. And congratulations to Abby Pulling, by the way, champion for this year. Brilliant for her. But he's been on duty with that, and F2 and F1. And it's a big job. In all honesty, Jensen, you know, I'm not sure I would want to be a race director. I don't know if you fancy the job or not, but it is a big
Oh
job.
yeah, this constructor title.
But on this occasion, I think
41
questions do need to be
points.
asked as to why we waited 4 laps.
Sainz has recovered up to P8 though, as Joe leaped Alonso and Magnussen. So, dude, we might get some salvo points here.
On that yellow flag, or you can just go flat out to a yellow.
Literally just speaking about it now, Max. Stand by.
GP won't be speaking about it. The sporting director, Jonathan Wheatley, is allowed to talk to race control. The race engineer's not, but we saw that as well on the replay. Lando Norris not lifting down the straight when the wing mirror was intact. Fernando Alonso pits again to get onto a set of mediums to the end of this race, and he's kind of going wheel to wheel here with Kevin Magnussen down the pit straight.
What up there, man?
I mean, they are level, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, actually, that was the first pit stop for Alonso. Level, and then Alonso gets ahead. Bernie Collins at Sky Race Control. What's the rule on that one? Can you go wheel to wheel down the pit lane?
You can go wheel to wheel down the pit lane. If the pit lane's wide enough, they'll have a look to see if it's.
This can be a while
safe
for the
it is,
safety
and
car.
he's very lucky that none of the other pit crew are out in the pit lane there, and that's what they will look at in race control in that instance. If the pit lane were out, he would be expected to give way because he is not fully in the fast lane.
Is that Lando Norris locking up?
Yeah.
And quite a big lock up too.
Yeah, obviously coming into the pits, and maybe he didn't realise how much they had to slow down for the pit limiter when you're following the safety car. It's an unusual situation to find yourself in. But I don't think that.
Well, it looks like they may have got it cleaned up.
Right,
They might
let's
be
take a
going
look at
green
this
shortly.
race.
20 laps to go.
And in a minute, because I think the debris has been swept away, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas will be able to unlap themselves. How has this panned out with Some drivers stopping before the safety car, some taking an advantage of stopping during the safety car. As we watch Lando Norris, and this will be that lockup that we were talking about. Hamilton and Bottas have been out told they can overtake.
He has mentioned on the radio that he thinks Lewis brake tested him.
Hamilton speeding 100%. He just brake tested me again. I locked both my fronts.
The mind games.
Maybe Lewis didn't have his pit limiter on, and he went to accelerate and was like, oh, I might be going over the speed limit, and he's hit the brakes to make sure he doesn't get done to the speed.
80 kilometers an hour. Is that
Lap cars
mitigating
may overtake
circumstances?
safety car now.
He
They'll
did
let
have his pit
Hamilton and
limiter on
Bottas
all the
by.
students saying that
Lando with a little bit of lockup. I don't know how that's going to play out. But this has brought Leclerc into the fight now. Ferrari might actually have a chance.
Charles Leclerc is now up into third place. Oscar Piastri fourth. Sergio Perez up into fifth. Pierre Gasly has moved into sixth after stopping behind the safety car. George Russell on the hard tyres again and not very happy about it is seventh, ahead of Carlos Sainz, who's one of two cars to get a puncture. Zhou Guanyu is running ninth for a Sauber team that haven't scored points yet this season. And do you know what? I really hope he stays there, and I really hope Sauber don't have a pointless campaign.
Yeah, I agree. And also, this is the perfect place for them to be in ninth because they have the pace.
Yeah.
It's not completely by luck. Yeah, a couple of people have had puncture issues, but they've been competitive.
Best finish in Formula One of 8th, Zhou Guanyu in Canada in 2022. Fernando Alonso runs 10th for Aston Martin. And then behind him,
Go
Magnussen
in
and
ninth,
Tsunoda, who
man.
will
This
very
could be
big
some
to get
points
back
for
into
Sauber,
points.
man. This is
And
so
Albon,
cool.
Hulkenberg, Lawson, Hamilton, and Bottas, who are kind of back into
And
this
Gasly up here in
once again.
sixth.
That is the current battle in the Constructors' Championship for sixth place. As I mentioned, Alpine moving then into sixth place. Safety cars coming in.
Looks like they might steal the points away from Haas, man. Steal that position.
Back down here, and Fernando Alonso is going to a target on Zhou Guanyu's back. He wants that points, those points for P9 in front of him. We'll never know what would happen between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris, but everyone has survived that rush through the pit lane after those stops for the safety car.
Fernando Alonso running the medium tyre, Jensen. I think that's an absolute genius strategy there by Aston Martin. The hard tyres don't seem to be working tonight, so give it a gamble and do 28 laps to the end on the medium tyre if we can.
Well, they did that on the medium tyre at the start.
It'll be
of the race
18.
when the circuit wasn't as clean.
Yeah.
So I think that is a great shout. I would definitely want to be on mediums, as George Russell wanted to as well.
So for the second time tonight, Max Verstappen will lead them away for a safety car restart. We saw him get it absolutely right, didn't we, on the time before?
Yes, yeah, that was a beautiful start. Oh, so looking at the
Looks like
cars
Verstappen's
on
leading the
medium
poll
tyre,
100%
Fernando
right
stopped
now. Dang,
twice
guys.
to stick the soft back
Everybody's
on.
confident in
Put the medium back on.
Verstappen.
You're absolutely right. You put the hard on.
Medium back on, sorry.
You put the hard on, and then stopped again, got rid of it. Because, like George Russell, he's not
Alonso
gonna
and
go on those
Magnussen
hard
both
tyres
went
tonight.
medium. Look at Albon with the
Right, Max
softs.
Verstappen then, going to get racing again. And
All right, here we go.
Piastri
Safety car's ending.
got very keen on the restart.
Got
before.
currently
Got an
19
overtake
laps to
done as well.
go. Coming to get
Is
18
Max
to go.
going? Is Max going? When's he going to go? He's on the run, and the approach now towards the final corner. He'd actually got going before now. Lando Norris absolutely chomping at the bits to make sure he doesn't get caught out by Max. He's going to pick up a beautiful slipstream here.
I was going to say he might have to wait until really late. But
Oh, it's a
he
wheel
hasn't
spin
gone.
by
He's
Max
gonna have
and
a
Lando.
beautiful toe here down to turn one.
Sergio Perez has stopped at turn 15.
Sergio's out.
This race, Max Verstappen under pressure.
Oh, here comes Lando, side by side with Max.
Around the outside here, he's going to try it into turn one.
Oh, contact!
Max off.
Oh, Gasly locks up.
Going wide, Pierre Gasly, and through goes Carlos Sainz on the Alpine. Verstappen leads Norris, leads Leclerc, leads Piastri, George Russell, and
Piastri and Leclerc side by side. What a restart. George Russell's fighting back. Sainz is fighting back.
It is all action-packed on this opening stages with a second.
Alonso got by Zhou.
And Max Verstappen's held on to the lead as down the inside goes Carlos Sainz on Pierre Gasly.
And Gasly's going to fight back by Sainz.
Sainz got hit from behind, and he's down in. Sorry, Perez got hit. He's down in 17th position.
Yeah, look, we can see what happened here. I said that Perez had stopped at turn 15. This was before he lost drive, is what happened to Sergio Perez, and then got hit. So he lost drive, and then whoever was behind Sergio Perez went into the back of him.
Virtual safety car.
Yeah, as we want to get Sergio Perez
VSC.
cleared out of the way, and that is the Haas of Nico Hulkenberg out of
What
this
is
race
going on?
and reached
Hulkenberg's
into the
off into the
gravel.
gravel.
Poor, they often say one safety car and another safety car follows quite quickly, and that's exactly what has happened here. But it's a full safety car now as well.
Checo is out.
So Sergio Perez losing drive, getting hit from behind, and sadly for him, out of the race in his first DNF since Canada, all those races ago.
Wow. That was a restart, wasn't it?
It certainly was. It was all going on there. We'll get some replays. Lando Norris and Max Verstappen.
What is happening in this race, man? This race has been absolutely nutty.
To get rid of the hard tyre and to put some mediums on. And Fernando Alonso now up into 8th. He got ahead of.
Well, here comes the RB Get One Free
showing
team.
that the medium tyres are very, very effective. Lando Norris tried around the outside with Max Verstappen. Whatever Max thinks of the safety car restart, he probably won't leave it as late to get going next time around.
He either has to go earlier or later, but I think the reason why he didn't, he's going on softs as well.
And they're putting on soft
I think
tires.
The reason why Max didn't go earlier was because the safety car lights, from what Lando has said, didn't go out.
Right. So
I thought Lando was going to get Verstappen right there. That was a great fight by Verstappen. And then Alonso, man, throws on the mediums, dude. There he is up at P8.
So he still has drive, everything's normal. Oh, did he actually get hit, or did he?
Freaking Perez, man.
Very strange.
That looks like a hydraulics issue, doesn't it? Right, here we go. Lando Norris down the main straight. Max forces him wide. There's still plenty of space there, and he's ahead by half a car length. And then Max moves over to the left to defend his position. It was hard and it was tough, but
they both stayed on the track.
They both stayed on the track. They look pretty fair to me. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri.
I mean, the bonehead of the week list is filling up, boys.
Ferrari stay ahead of McLaren on track. Carlos Sainz has to back out of it as George Russell gets past, and Russell had already passed Pierre Gasly down the main straight, I think.
And then Gasly just overshot, almost took out Piastri.
So Gasly was in 5th position.
Yes, Gasly had got 5th and was almost up in a second. His braking was that late.
Yeah. But I mean, you can see.
Oh, contact between Leclerc and Piastri.
We had three pairs of cars fighting for position down into turn 1. And I think with these hard tyres, they're just struggling to get them working.
Oh, Oscar Piastri at the last moment getting past the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, or getting out from behind the rear wing, I should say, of Charles.
It like the freaking crossover move there by Piastri. Then Leclerc overshoots and he gets back to the outside. What a battle by Piastri and Leclerc.
By the stewards for failing to slow under yellow flags, and we've seen the replay of that, and it does rather look and sound that he didn't lift at all, and that could be a penalty coming Lando Norris's way.
Lando's gonna get a penalty.
Runs wide, and Pierre
Oh,
makes
man.
a place on him, so he stays 6th after an action-packed first lap.
Yeah, that was a big snap there on the hard tyres.
So that is how the Haas of Nico Hulkenberg ended up in the gravel. That just looked like the tyres weren't giving him the grip that he wanted. He wasn't caught by anyone, I don't think.
Oh yeah, he just
Tyres
lost
not
it.
working in their working range. That's normally such an easy corner.
And he's on the
to
mediums
find, but,
too.
you can hear he's lifted, it's unsettled the rear, and he's gone back on throttle, and game over.
So, Lando Norris under investigation. Safety cars coming in at the end of this lap. We have 2 RBs and a Williams of Alex Albon on a soft compound tyre. Fernando Alonso.
Wow, they're gonna try to throw a Hail Mary here to try and get some points.
Position I'm in, currently P12. Car's messed up, mate.
And I wonder, could they have pitted Lewis Hamilton and put him on the medium tyres as well at Mercedes? to give him a little bit of extra grip to try and get him back.
Well, it's
into
down to
this race.
39 on the
And
constructors
49
title.
points. The difference, 39
Leclerc
points.
really needs to get by Norris, and
work this
Sainz
out.
has got to
39
gain at
points,
least
the
one more
difference
spot. That's the
between
only
the
chance I
McLaren
feel like they
Ferrari
have
and
going into
Constructors
Abu Dhabi next
Championship,
week.
which is not enough for McLaren to win the championship tonight. Right, here we go again then, Jensen Button. Is he going to go now?
What? They're all going to have very cold tyres. I can tell that he's gone. And he's got a good
Verstappen
advantage
is good.
there, but we saw before he really struggled to put the power down on the exit of the last corner.
Safety car lights were still on when they got going, and both Max Verstappen and Lando Norris were complaining about that, but Bernd Maylander was in the pit lane, and Max has got going, and this time Lando Norris, rather than attacking, is the
Here comes Leclerc. Norris with a big block. Leclerc to the outside.
To go around the outside, Norris stays a couple of car lengths ahead.
Dang.
Ferrari behind McLaren, and behind Ferrari is Oscar Piastri in the distance there, trying to get close as Lewis Hamilton, struggling to warm up his tyres, drops down into 13th. George Russell, his teammate, runs 5th. Pierre Gasly is 6th. They're weaving to try and get temperature into these tyres. Not Fernando Alonso on the mediums. Seems like that is the best way to go here. But out in front, Max Verstappen has the lead over Lando Norris.
Yeah, that was a much more relaxed restart. They knew exactly what to expect from the tyres and how the car would feel into turn 1. But yeah, look at Fernando Alonso. He's not weaving around to get temperature in the tyres. His tyres are working immediately. And
It's only 15 cars left.
It's just whether that car has the pace in it. But if it does, Fernando will extract it.
Yeah, he might be putting a bit of pressure on Carlos Sainz when they come down the straight next time around.
Check the front left. I can see sparks coming from it and I have a vibration.
And Oscar Piastri has dropped a 10th to Charles Leclerc on this lap.
This has been a crazy race.
With him, but he can certainly feel those vibrations as George Russell, I think, goes a little bit wide ahead of Pierre Gasly as they make their way towards the end of this latest lap of racing. 7/10 the difference between Verstappen and Norris. Gap then back to Charles Leclerc. Gap to Oscar Piastri.
It's gonna be interesting if these soft tires make it happen, dude. Which will stink for Sauber, man. They were this close to points. The only team to not score points.
Up into 10th, ahead of Kevin Magnussen. Hulkenberg, Perez, Stroll, Ocon and Colapinto are all out. Piastri is told everything looks good with his tyre. And we're on lap 44 of 57. Bernie Collins. Hello, Bernie, can you hear me?
Oh yes, sorry. There was a bit going on there, Crofty, but I was just trying to listen into Piastri. That complains of the front left, and one of the things that we have to be aware of at the minute is that all of the punchers have been front left. All of the issues have been front left. And this track we have...
Lando gets a penalty. 10 seconds stop and go. Oh no. It's not over. Ferrari's got a chance.
Kevin Magnussen to get into 10th. Crucially, at the front end of this race, a 10-second stop-go penalty for Lando Norris for failing to slow under yellow flags. We saw it and we heard it down the straight. He did not lift when he was behind Max Verstappen. There was a wing mirror on the track. That's why the yellow flags were there. That is a severe penalty for Lando Norris. That is taking him way out of contention in this race.
It is, because obviously there's only 12 laps to go, and they're all bunched up because of the safety car, so that hurts them a lot. I mean, the only thing he can do now is to be aggressive as he possibly can, get past Max and pull as much time as
But he's got
possibly
3 laps to serve that in. He's got 3 laps to serve that penalty within. Even if he got past Max now, he's not going to make up enough of a gap, is he?
No, I mean, what, he's got 12 laps to make, 10 seconds on Max Verstappen, which isn't likely.
Yeah, but he has 3 laps to serve the penalty, that's the thing. So when you get a stop-go penalty...
Oh, sorry, it's just a stop-go 10 seconds.
Yeah,
sorry, I thought it was just 10-second penalty.
No, mate.
Wow, that's massive.
Yes.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
A 10-second stop and go penalty. 10-second stop and go penalty, which he needs to serve within 2 laps.
Dang, Ferrari just finds themselves right back into the mix. That's all I'm going to say. For this Abu Dhabi, it's going to be crazy for the constructors.
You've got to lift. When yellow flags are there, you know as a driver, Jensen, the reason why drivers are told to lift. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton's been noted for speeding in the pit lane. He's already had a 5-second penalty for a false start.
We have been given a 10-second stop-go penalty, which we will take this lap.
No response from Lando Norris and Ted Kravitz.
And here he comes.
The pit lane now.
think he probably can't believe it, like the rest of us can't believe it. I mean, I know it's a new race director, but let's just stress, it's not the race director who gives the penalties, it's the stewards. But this seems incredibly harsh and something we haven't seen for this kind of thing recently. So
Now Sainz can get by Gasly here.
And this is going to put him out of the points completely and last, Crofty, because it's a 35, 36 seconds penalty while everything including
Wow,
the
Lando is
to come
done.
out, doesn't it? So it's going to amount to a race lost time of about 35 seconds.
Basically, Lando Norris is now running last. As he comes out onto the track, no one behind him, and he can't see the cars in front of him.
For what? Failing slow under the yellow flag.
I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about this, but the immediate outcome is Norris is last. McLaren, who could win the Constructors' Championship tonight.
So it's what, 25, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8. That's 2 more points if Sainz can get by Gasly here. For Ferrari.
Well, it was 30 points. It was 30 points coming into the race, wasn't it? And that is
Oh, it's down to 11, dude.
With McLaren scoring 15 points, Ferrari scoring 20.
They can get it down to 9 if Sainz can get by Gasly. 19 points. It'd be down to 17.
And by the way, Lewis Hamilton now has a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Wow.
Not the day for Lewis.
Alonso 25.5. Leave me alone, mate. I'm pushing.
Joe Guanyu moves up into 8th.
Dude, Sauber's gonna score some damn points, dude.
In Formula 1. And Max Verstappen now with a comfortable gap out in front of about 3.5 seconds.
I don't want to jinx it. There's still 11 laps to go, but damn, dude.
That's a nice, healthy gap, isn't it? You can just cruise it from there, I feel. Yeah, Leclerc up into 2nd. Obviously, Sainz down in P6. This is a big moment for Gasly as well. In P5, that's a lot of points. 10 points for Alpine. That's a good chunk with only 1 race to go.
Certainly is. Pierre Gasly at a track that he does rather love. This is Kevin Magnussen.
K-Mag by Albon.
Getting back on
Oh, maybe. Oh, man.
of Alex Albon and then losing the place as he goes wide.
Yeah, he was going for the outside move there and being forced off the track. Just like he was a couple of laps ago as well. They made contact and luckily no damage to either car.
10 laps to go. A lot to talk about from this race tonight. 3 safety car periods. Lando Norris with a 10-second stop-go penalty.
This has been nuts. Here comes Hamilton with his drive-through. 10 laps to go.
Negative.
He's asking to actually stop.
Yes, he is.
Tyre.
Well, he wants to come in. He's had enough of this tonight. His penultimate race for Mercedes, and Lewis Hamilton saying, "Park the car. I want to retire," and being told, "No, you carry on."
I mean, the frustrating thing is, it's been a pretty bad race for him with the puncture and obviously not a great start. But he was in P11. He still had the opportunities to still fight for points after all that of being a lap down. And that little mistake is, didn't put him last.
Yeah, it's...
Albon is in points. Magnussen's in points. Bottas. Dude, we could almost get double points for Sauber. Bottas can make something happen.
You were Lewis's teammate for many years. This weekend's...
The softs for the RB get one freeze just didn't work, man. Those cars are just dump trucks today.
What do you make of Lewis's statement about it? He just wants to get this season out of the way, or
It's been mostly negative, and we saw the same thing in Brazil, and it's a real surprise for me. You know, conditions that Lewis normally thrives in, and the problem is once you have a couple of bad moments, especially when your teammate is just getting the best out of the car every single session, it starts hurting and it spirals out of control. And even though you're a 7-time world champion, you forget that. You just think about that last moment that was negative.
And now Lewis is told to pit to retire the car. More on that in a moment. As
Oh, K-Mag
swoop round the outside of the
gets by Albon.
of Alex Albon and up into 9th place. And Ted, Lewis Hamilton will be coming in into the pit lane. I'm assuming they want to, well, he's actually carried on.
He has carried on. I think they were discussing it. Lewis was very much of the opinion that he was just going to come into the pit lane and turn the car off himself. Just end the discussion by just coming in and turning the car off. Of course, he has the power to do that, but the team have convinced him, it seems, on this lap at least, to keep going.
I think they wanted him to serve the penalty as well, like with Lance Stroll earlier in the race, so it wasn't a penalty carried over to the next race, his last race for Mercedes.
And I hope that is his last race for Mercedes. I really do. I hope we see Lewis back in Abu Dhabi, because this is mentally such a tough place for him to be in. One of the greatest, if not the greatest ever in this sport, to be in this position mentally, it's soul destroying, and you know, I really feel for him.
You think there's a chance he won't go and race for Mercedes next week?
Well, a couple of races ago, that was his mindset, wasn't it, after Brazil? But I hope he has his last race in Abu Dhabi, because we know how great he is, and we know how great he is around that track, and I want to see that.
Let's see if Sainz can buy
Before he heads off to Ferrari
Gasly here
for the first time in what will be 19th season in Formula One. He races without Mercedes power as well. So Alpine then ahead of Haas now by 5 points in the championship. Haas scoring 2 in this race. Alpine scoring 10 with Pierre Gasly in 5th and holding off Carlos Sainz. Fernando Alonso sticking to that 7th place and lapping quite well. Zhou Guanyu has a very nice cushion between himself and Kevin Magnussen of 4 seconds. We're on lap 50 here. Zhou Guanyu currently running 8th for a Sauber team, who are the only team who haven't scored a point this season. And you go back, don't you, to this place last year where Sauber scored their most recent points in Formula One.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want...
Nice one, Kev.
Freaking K-Mag. That's the best K-Mag moment right there. Oh, man.
Another one of your former teammates.
Exactly. We don't want them to have a dry season. We want them to get some points. And Valtteri in 11th place. He's only just behind.
Yeah, dude, Botas. We might get double points out of Sauber here.
Finish for Sauber, because Valtteri is really catching Alex Albon. Those soft tyres have gone off. What a night that's going to be down at Sauber. What a night for Max Verstappen, who clinched the title last week in Las Vegas and is very much in the drive back to winning ways here tonight. Brilliant drive in the wet, of course, in Sao Paulo for victory. But this is going to be his first victory in the dry since Spain, as Lando Norris makes an overtake past Liam Lawson and into 13th place. He might yet still score a point in this race as he fights his way through the field. In all honesty, he's got the pace to do it.
He's 3 seconds quicker than the cars in front. Oh, 2.5 seconds. That is massive, and there's still 6 laps to go. Yeah, there's every chance.
Yeah, Norris still gonna score a
McLaren
point.
would like him to get at least a point here and pick up another point for that fastest lap that he's got 2. It's all adding up in the Constructors' Championship battle. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri running in 3rd place behind Charles Leclerc. And you don't want to go much wider than that. Little bit of a dip into the gravel.
It's what it does to the floor, though, running over the edge of that curb. And Zach's feeling the pressure a little bit.
Zach the Clown Brown.
He certainly is. And I think he's going to be feeling the pressure all the way through to the checkered flag in Abu Dhabi, where there might be a lift of that pressure, or it might be back to the drawing board once again. Valtteri Bottas, as I said, catching Alex Albon. Lando Norris very much catching Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, I mean, this is a done deal, isn't it? Down the main straight, you would say. Look at the exit he's able to get. Yuki's soft tyres are, yeah, they're not what they were, let's just say.
Here comes Lando Norris then, getting a slipstream, getting DRS, and getting 12.
Botas, he's looking to get by Albon. Oh, no, he made a mistake.
To try and get past Alex Albon, which is going to frustrate him for a little bit longer, and he's going to have
Dang
to
it,
try
man.
again against the Williams.
Lando's going to steal the
And let's
point
face it,
from frickin'
Williams will
Botas
quite like
and
the point as well, although they're pretty much nailed on, aren't they?
Oh,
For
it's
ninth in
lame.
the Constructors' Championship this year.
Yeah, I think it's for Bottas to get into the points, it's a much bigger deal. But it's not going to be easy. You know, Norris is only 2.8 seconds behind him with 5 laps to go.
And I tell you what, there's another battle that's getting a bit closer here as well. Carlos Sainz tucked up behind Pierre Gasly. Fernando Alonso is catching this battle too. And you might just see Alonso and Sainz getting pretty close. 5 laps to go here, and whilst out in front, Max Verstappen has a very comfortable lead. Behind him, there are all sorts of battles that might flip around the places, including this one. Valtteri Bottas, who scored Sauber's last points here in Qatar, it was in October last year, is on the verge of a points finish. His teammate is in the points, and that is...
Whoa, Sainz, big time moment.
One of the reasons why Fernando Alonso is catching him so rapidly. Back on board with Valtteri Bottas. This was down into turn 1. Thought that the opportunity was there against Alex Albon, and it was for one brief moment.
It was. He had to go for it there.
And he's ahead of him now, though. And Lando
Bottas into the final point.
Bottas is into the points. Alex Albon down into 11th.
But it ain't gonna matter because Lando is flying.
Because he is absolutely racing towards the end here and trying to get back into the points after his stop-go penalty. A 10-second stop-go penalty.
Wow, Lando's still gonna score a point. And, well, 2 points because he got the fast lap.
Yeah, luckily for Sauber, Bottas is 13 seconds back from Joe. So still looking good for points, but maybe not the double points finish they were hoping for.
Lap 53 of 57, the championship, the Constructors' Championship, will go to Abu Dhabi as it stands currently. As Valtteri Bottas.
Oh, Bottas can hold off Lando here.
Getting more power into his batteries, the blinking red lights that you could see. Is trying to fend off Lando Norris. This might be a bit of a tough order for him. We're on board now with Carlos Sainz down the main straight behind Pierre Gasly. And into turn 1 we go. Zhou Guanyu currently leading driver of the day. Yes. Yes.
I bet you didn't expect that coming into this weekend.
No, he didn't. Alex Albon has got a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision. More penalties than they had in the World Cup final stadium when Argentina beat
And Lando just got by
France a few years
Bottas.
ago.
So Lando's in the
Norris is
points
into
for
the
2.
points. Valtteri Bottas is out of it. 10th now for Norris, who's back up into the points after running second in this race for so long.
His pace has been outstanding, the quickest car on track when he gets a clear lap. But now into the points, or point finishing, point scoring.
This race has
But he
been
the
just
fastest
absolute
lap, so that's
freaking
2
wild.
points.
And Kevin Magnussen, I think, has got a penalty to come as well. He's got a time penalty in this race, so that's the case. It might be another position, but he's got a 10-second gap to try and close down. This was Bottas down the main straight against Alex Albon.
That's got to hurt, hasn't it? Taking that 10th place, 1 point for 1 lap before you get overtaken by Lando Norris.
And then Lando Norris says thank you very much indeed.
Right, he's absolutely flying. He's properly pushing, isn't it? It's lovely to watch.
And we can see Carlos Sainz down the main straight here. He's got some pace on Pierre Gasly. He's got some pace on
Sainz to Gasly. Oh, man.
Thank you. But how much longer can Gasly fight this one?
That was beautifully lined up for Pierre, though. He knew that he had to give him space at the apex and just carried that speed through the middle of the corner.
He's had 3 strikes for track limits, Pierre Gasly, as well, so he's got to be very careful in this defence that he doesn't run wide, get a black and white flag, and then maybe a 5-second penalty as Lewis Hamilton's now on the tail of Liam Lawson down the main straight, trying not to finish last in this race, which is not going to happen as he does get past Lawson and up into 14th. Gap out in front, 6 seconds. Max Verstappen, who won from pole last year, is going to complete back-to-back victories here in Qatar and help Red Bull in their fight in the Constructors' Championship. His teammate Sergio Perez out of the equation after losing drive just before the final safety car restart. Is that the moment that Lando Norris didn't lift? No, it was the moment Lando Norris went wide.
He is pushing hard. 22.4 his last lap, which is half a second quicker than anyone, including obviously Max Verstappen in first.
Meanwhile, George Russell, who's running in 4th, has been noted by race control for a safety car infringement. Whether that's he got past someone before the safety car.
Oh my god, dude. All this freaking penalties, man.
Safety car infringement hasn't been passed to the stewards at the moment. There's a lot to be decided, isn't there? And a few explanations coming our way, I'm sure. Oscar Piastri, meanwhile, gaining on Charles Leclerc. Maybe going for one last hurrah before the checkered flag. Albon pits.
2 laps to go, and there's nothing
Williams.
decided yet.
Sainz is 0.8 of a second behind Gasly, as we can see on screen. He's going to be hoping to stay as close as he can to get that DRS and have another opportunity into turn 1. I've noticed that Gasly has been recharging a lot more in the first sector than the Ferrari is.
Because he's going to need that in defence when they go down the straight the next time around.
Final lap.
Max Verstappen currently 37 seconds ahead of Lando Norris, who lost 36 seconds with that stop-go penalty. Oh, that could have been
Sainz, if he's gonna get by Gasly, he's gonna have to make it happen here soon. This might be his last opportunity.
Piastri, 4th Russell, 5th Gasly, 6th Sainz down the main straight. The electrical energy, the ERS system doing its job for Pierre Gasly, stays ahead of Carlos Sainz, who had the slipstream and the DRS. Gasly had the extra boost for that. Out in front, Verstappen is making his way through turn 6. He has coped brilliantly and did a superb job to dispatch George Russell right at the start.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, an exceptional performance. He's reading the race really well as well. You know, the mention of obviously the penalty for Lando. Did he lift? He gained on me in that sector. So he's read the race perfectly.
The awareness of Max Verstappen very much coming to the fore. And as we arrived at the racetrack today, we
Gonna
were
be over
discussing
now.
this, weren't we? That penalty, that one-place grid penalty that took
What is it,
so long
21
from him.
points for
What
the
would that do
constructors?
for Max Verstappen? We all thought it would serve to inspire and to energize, and that is exactly what it is.
Verstappen back-to-back, or not back-to-back, but wins his world championship last week, and then he goes and wins this race at Qatar.
Denied pole, but not denied victory. Verstappen wins the Qatar Grand Prix.
And then Leclerc, Piastri will round out your podium. Russell P4. And it looks like Gasly's going to hang on for P5 over Sainz.
In the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari needed to outscore McLaren tonight. They have done that. They take the fight to Abu Dhabi in a week's time.
And then Joe, Alonso, Joe, Magnussen, and then Norris.
And Alpine back into 6th in the $30 million battle for 6th in the Constructors. Carlos Sainz finishes 6th on the track. Fernando Alonso, inspired tyre choice to be on the mediums at the end, ahead of Zhou Guanyu.
What a race.
For him and for Sauber, their first points of the season. Well done. And I hope he hung on to driver of the day as well. Kevin Magnussen takes 9th. Lando Norris comes home for 10th. What a Qatar Grand Prix.
Yeah, what we thought was going to be difficult because of the DRS train turned into a fantastic race. It's amazing what a safety car and a few virtual safety cars can do, isn't it?
Oh, he did!
Yes! Driver of the day.
Whoever voted for Zhou Guanyu, well done. Yeah, we'll applaud that from the commentary box. Excellent efforts. We say
amazing what
the driver of the day as well. Kevin Magnussen takes 9th. Lando Norris goes to be on this time. Mediums at the end, ahead of Zhou Guanyu. Brilliant performance for him and for Sauber. Their first points of the season. Well done. And
drive unnecessarily slowly today.
is all Max wants to say for the moment. I did have a chat with GP, Gianpiero Lambiasi, Max's race engineer, and I know he wasn't happy with the penalty and was a bit infuriated. I think this result will take away some of that fury.
What a race.
Tonight. George Russell, though, is under investigation. No, he's not.
Yeah, we're going to
He's
find
got
out about this Russell.
5-second time penalty for a safety car infringement, but I think he's going to be okay, and he'll hang on to 4th place. He finished 7.6 seconds ahead of Pierre Gasly, so he gets 5 seconds, but it means nought in terms of his race result.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference, so that is your result, but wow, I mean, that had a bit of everything, didn't it, that?
Yeah, and like I say, more penalties than they had 6 kilometres away at the Lusail Stadium when Argentina won the World Cup. And there were quite a few penalties that night as well, to be fair. There's your car number 1, finishing as your race winner for tonight, a 63rd win for Max Verstappen in the Formula One World Championship. The Constructors' Championship, well, it's between Ferrari and McLaren. McLaren and Ferrari. Tonight was Ferrari's night. And I don't know what McLaren will say about that penalty for Lando Norris. It took him out of the
What a race.
Verstappen
masterclass, man. He was to not be denied tonight.
They did, and this isn't a track that suits their car. You know, when we go to Abu Dhabi, I think it's a track a bit more like Vegas that they were very strong at. So, you know, they did all they could.
Not to be denied.
Really an amazing
And he was
race.
100% on the pole, so you guys nailed that one.
After a puncher.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse for Carlos Sainz. He and Lewis Hamilton picking up that puncture. And Valtteri Bottas ran over the wing mirror. Charles Leclerc, by the way, his second place tonight, I think that takes him to within 7 points of Lando Norris in that battle for the number 2 spot. Now, I know you used to hate finishing second, but, you know, is it something for the drivers to be runner-up?
Definitely. I mean, they're not just fighting for the constructors at the last race now. They're going to be fighting for second in the World Championship. So, yeah, it definitely means something. And you've beaten the other 18 drivers, so you've done okay.
And he did all that without taking a drink tonight as well, Charles Leclerc. His drink system was broken, and they didn't have time to fix it on the grid.
He'll be happy with the safety cars and the virtual safety cars then, so he can have a little breather, because that's not easy with the amount of G-force they're pulling around here. This is a physical one.
What a race.
It certainly is. Imagine last year in October if he hadn't been able to have a drink.
Unbelievable. So Verstappen wins.
What the marathon runners do,
63rd
triathletes.
Leclerc
He'd been asking for
somehow
something
gets a
before
P2 out of this.
decided
Unbelievable.
he went past.
Piastri P3.
That was a
And
hot
I believe
night,
it's 21
last year.
points now separating the
Fireworks are
Constructors
very,
World
very
Championship going
pretty,
into Abu Dhabi,
this
so it's going to be a
Yeah,
freaking
but
nail
wonderful,
biter.
don't we?
Yeah, we do actually.
Gasly with a
Box.
P5 for
Down to the
Alpine,
left-hand side.
unbelievable, moves them into 6th in the Constructors.
Driver of the day for you.
And then also
Without
Zhou
a doubt.
finally gets points for Sauber, the only team left in the grid to not score points this season. They finally did it. Alonso with a great run, with great qualifying effort, and then backs it up with a great run in the race, getting itself that point, or getting him those points as well. Unbelievable. Matt K-Mag having a K-Mag race. He ends up P9. Lando drives back through the field after his 10-second stop-and-go penalty to get the final point plus the fast lap point. So interesting. Interesting race, man. What a joy. Abu Dhabi next week is going to be a hell of a race. It's going to be a hell of a race to see who can claim that Constructors Championship.
Yeah, they look a little bit sweaty there, don't they?
They certainly do. Right.
Alrighty.
Here's the points as they stand. The
Here we go. They're going to
Constructors
show us the points real
McLaren
quick.
640, Ferrari 619. That's a 30.
640 to 619.
To take to Abu Dhabi, which sounds like it should be comfortable for McLaren, but as we saw with Lando Norris, anything can happen.
It can. Obviously, Red Bull are out of the title fight now. They have dropped out.
They
here.
have dropped out of the title fight.
21
former Red Bull driver
points to
David
separate
Coulthard
McLaren and
is
Ferrari.
hosting the post-race interviews.
Unbelievable.
Floor penalties, and you had quite a few moments.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this watch party for the Qatar Grand Prix. We're gonna be back next weekend for the finale at Abu Dhabi. I'm super excited. 21 points separates Ferrari and McLaren for the Constructors Championship. It's gonna be all on the line next weekend, and we're gonna wrap up the 2024 motorsports season. I mean, it's all coming to an end, culminating with the final race at Abu Dhabi next weekend. We'll crown an F2 champion next weekend as well, so it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here today for this watch party. Make sure you guys go follow us on all of our socials. We got Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. We also have a Patreon if you guys want to go over there and support us over there as well. And we also have a Kick, streaming on Kick. So welcome everybody that watched here tonight or this morning on Kick or tonight or wherever you are around the world. If you guys look in the description below, there's a link to our Discord. We post all the motorsports news around the world from every motorsports series, all the rumors, drama, big memes, whatever it may be. It's just a great place. Lots of great people in the community. Post your own news if you want in there. Communicate and chat with other people. We communicate in there just about every single day. It's a fun place, the best community in all of motorsports right here, the Digga Boys Discord. Join that. Link is in the description below. Also, if you guys want to buy some merch to help support the channel, you could do so with the link in the description below. It'll take you to our merch store. You can buy you some swag, some Digga Boys swag. get all swagged out here for the winter season, for the holidays. Buy your friend a hoodie, buy your friend a t-shirt, whatever it may be for the Christmas holiday seasons. Uh, all those proceeds continue to help us make this awesome content for you guys on a weekly. Also, tune in on Tuesday. We're going to have another podcast, episode 99 of the Full Send Half Mass podcast. We're going to be talking about this race. The races this weekend at Qatar, the Grand Prix, the sprint race, which was an absolute thrilling weekend. We'll talk about the Constructors Championship as well. And then we'll also recap the Formula 2 races that happened this weekend as well. And then preview the upcoming finale for Formula 1 at Abu Dhabi next weekend, plus another watch party next weekend as well. So lots of great stuff coming up on this channel. And then we're only 2 weeks away. We're 9 days away now from our episode 100 special for the Full Send MS podcast. So make sure you guys turn on your notifications, hit the subscribe button, and maybe leave a like as well if you enjoyed this content. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully you guys had a great weekend and enjoyed the race, and we will catch y'all in the next one.